Hi, all you beautiful, wonderful, magnificent beings, brothers and sisters. This is a morning video, and it's moving on with this subject that we're in right now at the moment. And I think I'm going to send a video about one I made this summer about how to start to really accept how we feel. So that's very much what I feel is what I'm being asked to share, is to allow ourselves to really accept how we feel, no matter what the mind says how we shouldn't feel as we feel, but really to just allow ourselves to feel as we do, because this is the way we're going to set ourselves free and come out of the old person that we used to be. And I mean, we're moving out of this old way of being. This is just how I see it, and just if it resonates with you, that's also your deep belief that we're in a transition period where we're creating and we're establishing a new way of being human. And it's actually a very, very grand, enormous plan. And they say it's never happened on Earth this way. And we have been in a very low density for many, many years. And as Jesus said, we've had, as our eyes have been closed and we've been blinded. So we didn't realize while we were in it how bad it was. But it was bad. And some say that, the plan was that it was never to get that bad as it did on Earth. It got really, really bad. We sunk into a very, very low vibrational state, which is not of the soul. It's where love is nearly all gone. And everybody's fighting for themselves. Everybody is in a very bad inner state of being. Just a sec. Oops. And there's a story I once heard, I don't know how true it is, it's about how they've made an experiment with frogs. And if you put a frog into warmish water, lukewarm water, and you take it from there and over into boiling water, of course it's going to die straight away. But apparently if you just heat the water slowly, it sounds really, really horrible, but if you heat it very slowly, the frog will adjust its body to these very, very high temperatures, and finally it's going to cook. And this man, it's an old friend, it was from the sheep farm where I was in Australia when I was a young woman, and he had been a minister in Sydney, and he became a sheep farmer, doesn't matter, but he told this story, and it's just to create an image, or to show how we humans have adjusted to worse and worse conditions, emotionally, spiritually, physically, worse and worse conditions, and finally we're in a state where it's so bad, and because it's been gradual, we're not aware of how bad it is. So, but now the time has come where slowly more and more of us are realizing that it mustn't go on, because it's really, really destructive, a destructive way of being. And we are not these little beings who have come here to suffer a whole lot and hold each other down with all our bad emotional state of being. We're here to shine our light, and we're here to live a very, very beautiful life. And our true being is this magnificent being. And so not all at once, of course, but some of us are awakening to this truth that it can't be right. We can't continue on living that way. And this process is gradual. It's happening over some years. It's a transition, because it can't just happen like that. So for those of us who are awakening and seeing that there's there's a completely different way we're going to live, we're moving ourselves out of this 3D way of being and into our true self, into our true life, really. And you can also see it as this we've been in this very sticky, heavy, slimy mass that we've been all glued into, and you could hardly get yourself, anywhere out of it. You were just stuck there. And now some of us are feeling that we can start to pull ourselves out of it. But you get one arm out, and then you get the other arm out, and slowly you're getting the whole body out. And that's what I feel. This is the process that we're in. And what is needed for us to pull ourselves out of that slimy mess that life was, is to just start to be ourselves. Just to allow ourselves to be who we are. Stop judging others. Stop pulling others down. Stop comparing, and just say, this is really all about me setting myself free. And that way I'm going to help others, and this is going to be a beautiful, beautiful planet one day. So it's enormous, really, what's going on, and it's also just so fantastic. Imagine that we are creating the new world ourselves, and it's not by being some great person in a great company. It's just by being you. It's just by being the little who we got to believe is this little being. You are a mighty being. You are a princess of the light. You are a prince of the light. And that's what we all are. We're all princesses and princes of the light. So we are magnificence in our being. And for this magnificence to step forward, it's ourselves who have to do the work of setting ourselves free from the old way of being. It is us who have held ourselves in a cage. It's no one else. There's no one to blame. So I just wanted to share a little bit more about my own story. And that was in that old video, but I won't show that old video. But I don't know if you can use this, but it's just to tell you a little bit more about. It's just really to give you this picture of how I felt it was growing up in this world. And as you probably know, if you've seen some of my older videos, my mother and father were Danish, and they had my big brother here in Denmark, and then they moved to Australia, where my father, he was an indoor architect, and he wanted to start a great career, and there was lots of possibilities in Australia, and they had me and they had my little brother, and just like nearly every family, he got very engaged in his work, and was less and less at home. And as my mother said, he was designing all these beautiful homes, and in our home there was not even light. There was not even a lamp shade on the lamps. The lamps were just these bulbs hanging from the ceiling. So she felt increasingly more and more neglected by my father. and he was just trying to do his thing, and it ended up when I was 7 that they got divorced. And it helped me immensely because I could feel it very, very early on that they were in a lot of pain, both my parents. And I got to hear later on their stories, and they had the most horrific childhoods. So it was really, really, they were carrying on to all this hurt, and it helped me so much to let them go later on, when I felt, because I felt it was difficult, really difficult growing up, because when you in a way you feel you're a parent for your own parents, because they're in so much pain, and they're having a really difficult time. It's just really not easy. So, but inside me, I knew that we're all these beautiful beings, and that we all can live in this beautiful light and life and love and all this goodness. I just knew deep in my being that it was possible for all of us, and I was longing for this. So the whole thing of having a mother and father was a dream for me, and feeling the love of a mother and father who also loved each other. It was, but I know that they did love each other in the beginning, and they were very warm and loving people, so they would hug us and kiss us and give us this physical warmth, and there was no abuse, there's no horrible things. It was really more on the emotional level that things were really, really difficult. And just a little thing about my father. He said before the age of 18, he'd never sat round a table with a mother and a father and their children. I mean, he was born in 1935. So, life was not easy at all. And so that helped me to not blame them for everything that was going on, for they were truly doing their best with all the resources they had as human beings. They were doing their best for us kids. But the whole thing of everything breaking apart when they were divorced and all this, it was just, but even before they were divorced, everything was just crumbling. And so, but the beautiful thing is that we're all looked after, and everything is, there's love everywhere, and that's what I experienced in my life. And because I'm such a, I don't know what you can say, I just go very much with my emotions. I've always done that. And through my life, there were these couples, these people who became like a mother and father to me. So every time they would pop up in my life, I would just more or less throw myself at them, and to go and experience this feeling of a mother and a father and the love there. So, and the first family, one of the first families I experienced, which was very powerful, were the people on the sheep farm in Australia. And they had been friends of us when I was little, and we went to Denmark. My mother took us to Denmark, me and my 2 brothers, when I was 8, and she's tried to start a new life with us here, and that was the most secure for her, and a good decision, I think, because there was a lot of support for single mums, single parents then. And so when I was 18, I really didn't know my father, because we more or less lost contact. There was very little contact, and he had really given up, because he started a new family and had 2 other children with another woman. And so when I was 18, I wanted to go to Australia and spend time with my father and get to know him, because it was really important for me to have this connection. And so I wrote to these different people that were our old friends, and there was some of these people were the ones on the sheep farm, and a really beautiful couple who were younger than my parents. So I stayed on the sheep farm for 6 months, and they were the people who taught me lots of these different skills that I'm using today, the spinning and the milking, and coming to their place was just like stepping into heaven, because there was a mother and a father and 3 children, and they were living on the land. And and what I felt the strongest was life was simple. Life was not all this tension and nervousness and problem solving, or living in this problem world and pain world. I just stepped right out of it and into this, and they were just so loving to me. And it was, and also I still have contact with them, and it's just really, really special that they felt the same, and they also felt this love for me in their own way. So I just sucked all this in. I just drank from this beautiful, beautiful well of love. And they were a Christian family, and I never became a Christian as they are, a traditional Christian, because I just couldn't, because I can't really be connected deeply to one religion, because I think God is really the creator of all. And so that's another story. But in my life, these couples would come by. I would meet them, and I would just allow myself to go into their love, and has been really, really healing for me. And when I was on my search to find God, because I hadn't found God till about 10 years ago, a bit more maybe, and I found the Celtic Christian way of believing in God, and that was very much what I felt was true to me. And in this search for God, I went to a free church, and there was this couple, this beautiful, they looked like 2 angels with their white hair. They were sort of in their late 60s, I think, early 70s. And I just felt naturally drawn to them. And when the woman saw me, she came over to me and she said, "You're mine." And it was just so powerful. So especially she took me really into her arms, and I think she's done that with many, many people, because she was just, they were so filled with God's love. It was just amazing. It was exploding out of them. And he was the one who taught me how to pray. So we were in their Bible groups and connected to them for some years, and they're not here anymore. But what this woman did was she would call me for 2 years, because I was really in a bad way, with all the pain in my family, with my own family, and with my mother, and everything was just so difficult. And there was just no love. There was really just no love. And then I just come into this ocean of God's love through these people. And the funny thing was that they were born in the same year that my mother and father are born. And it was like having a new mother and father for a while. And I was in my 40s, and I was just like this little kid. And that was a strange thing. This woman, she would call me on the phone in the sort of late morning, nearly every day for 2 years, and tell me how much she loves me. It was just it was really, really a mystical experience. Who experiences that? And she'd had a blood clot in her brain, so she was she was really, really funny. And as she said, my husband, he thinks before he speaks. I speak before I think. And so she was just really, they were both this explosion of God's love. And she would say these things to me, like, it was just so crazy. She said, now remember, she talked to me like a little kid, and say to me, now remember to wear your nappy today, and remember to be a good girl, and she'd speak to me like this, and she would make me laugh and laugh and laugh, and I just felt I was starving for this love, this motherly love, which my mother had given me in her own way, but there was this starvation in me. And this woman, she would say, I don't know where all this love is coming from, but I feel God is putting it into my heart because you need it. And so as you can see, it was just so powerful. It was so powerful. So that's what I think, I feel. And she was also a little bit prophetic, and she would say, you're gonna speak to people one day, you're gonna help them. So it's just so powerful. So it's just amazing how you can feel that there are some there's we're all holding on to pain, and luckily if we open our heart, open our eyes, God will throw in the love. And that right now while I'm talking about this, because of course what happened was that I was given this enormous power from this love, and also I was guided to God. I mean, they helped me find God, connect with God. So, and of course my whole life changed. So what I'm just being inspired to say right now is that many of us are living in this starvation for love. Because living in non-loving relationships has become normal. I mean, and it is against the grain of our being, the essence of who we are. Love is natural. And for love, pure love, to flow from a heart, the person has to be authentic. You cannot, you can to some degree, but the pure love will flow from a heart that's open and true, where the person is present within themselves as who dares to be who they are. And really that is usually what happens when you, that is what happens when you open your heart to God in a non, I think in the deep mystical way, when we really open our hearts to God's love, everything changes, and the love in us can flow out, but we can also be receivers of love. Because when we're not authentic and we're living in the old world, we've shut off our heart, we can't express very much of the pure love, and of course we can't receive it, because it's like it's all going through here. So there's an enormous surrender that has to take place for this heart to open. And this was pretty amazing, because that was the next thing I just sort of got, I feel, to share with you, that we're living in this type of starvation, many of us, where we feel deeply unloved. And these people, these people in my life have helped me survive. Without them I wouldn't have been here, for sure. So God's love is there, and the plan is that we get to live in true love and pure love, and our own love being rises out of this gunk that we have been in for so long. So yes, so the message of this video is really to just tell you a little bit more about myself, and how I've really I've taken the help I could get on my way, because I could feel something's really, really, really bad, and there's an enormous lack of love, and I need also what I needed, because everything was really quite sick when there was nothing that was in harmony, really. So I was starving also to see this harmony of a man and a woman, and the love and the children. So I went like this little kid searching for this, and it came through my lifetime. So God is looking after us and making sure that when we're really starving, the love is there, it's coming to you. And that's also what I wish to express with these videos, to send that love that woman gave me on the phone, to give it to you. So to tell you that I love you, I send my love to you, and your being is you are completely loved. So, but we need to see this and hear this from others. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's just, I have this job of making these videos, which I really, really love, and you can ask, what am I actually doing? What am I actually doing with these videos? Because it's all about cows and, so many different things. But when you cook it right down, the one message that I wish to bring to you is that you are loved. You are loved. You are loved beyond measure, and you are valuable. And that you yourself are love. So the life of the open heart, where you feel deeply loved, you dare to open your heart. That's really what these videos are about. And also to make you feel loved, and to make you dare to step up, to step forward as who you are. And when you do this, you're bringing yourself out of the old slime, out of that old life. And it might be leaving some people, it might be, and that's what can be really dramatic right now, that we're separating from some people, and it is very, very difficult because we wish this connection and we wish to be whole, but we have to let go to find our own wholeness, because we have not been whole ourselves. And when this wholeness starts to manifest within us, new relationships will arise, and all relationships that needed healing, where each become whole, they will come. So we have nothing to fear, although we can feel very, very fearful in the process. Feel that, oh my God, what is happening? So these videos are also to just really reassure you that you are fine, and you will be fine, and you have actually always been fine. And the more you dare to just be you, allow yourself to feel as you feel and think as you think, no matter what that is, the more you'll feel that you're moving forward, and that love is taking over your life. So, yeah, this was a real mixture again. So now I'm going to send that video I made this summer, where I felt I had a real breakthrough, and that was about this, that the feelings I had in me, I could sense how I was suppressing them because I didn't like them. And I suddenly felt God say to me, love your feelings and your thoughts. You might feel you hate someone. Well, just feel the feeling that you hate this person. Just let it be there, and that way we heal. Just allow the feelings to be there. And we are the ones who are our worst enemy. We are the ones who are holding our true self back. Nobody is doing this to us. We're doing it to ourselves. So we are the ones who have to set ourselves free. And it starts when we allow ourselves to feel as we feel, think as we think, without fear. Just let it be there, and it will dissolve. And the beautiful you, the essence of who you are, your soul, will step forward more and more. But the suppressed feelings, they must be allowed to arise, and they are legitimate. They're allowed to be here. So allow yourself, give yourself that freedom to feel and think as you do in this moment. So, life is good, and thank you, all of you, for being you. Thank you for your beautiful comments, and yeah, I just hope you feel the love, just beaming in and beaming out more. See you, my friend.